Hey guys, I'm a little bit later to start today. I was doing this Bible study still in the Gospel of Luke. Today we're starting in Luke chapter 2, verse 39, I believe. Yes, verse 39. And it's a story about Jesus getting left behind in Jerusalem. His family didn't realize that he was not with their group of people. They thought he was, probably playing with the other kids or something, And come to find out a day later, they realize he's not here. And so they go back to Jerusalem. They find him in the temple courts, and there he is, teaching and discussing things with the scribes and the teachers, and they're just amazed by that. But then there's this little scene that plays out where Mary and Joseph are like, "What are you doing? Don't you know what this did to us? Don't you know how anxious this made us feel?" And Jesus' response is kind of hardcore, It's kind of like, you said that to your mom? But he's like, of course I'm here. Where else would I be? Don't you know that I have to be about my Father's work? And it says that Mary took that to heart, as I'm sure any mother would. That was just kind of a hard way to respond to that, but it was steeped in truth. And I think it's such a really good, strong answer, because it didn't minimize his mother's anxiety, but it did paint a picture of, keep in mind, I have one job and one job only, to do my Father's will. And today, that will was for me to be in the temple courts, possibly getting recognized by them as something, because it says they were all sitting around, they were all listening to him, and were amazed at his depth and his wisdom and understanding of the word, of course they were. And so it makes me think about, I keep bringing this, it keeps coming up. My son a few weeks ago asked me, "Dad, what do you do?" Because I haven't really shared it much on here, but I'm in school full time now, so I'm not actually working or anything, and I spend many hours every day doing this. I spend many hours not just in my schoolwork, but also doing this Bible study that I've been doing now for about 9 months. And so my days don't look like a common, mid-40s guy's day. And I'll tell you something, they probably never will again. And the reason that I bring that up is because those questions are hard to answer. Because of social expectation, because of that thing inside me as a man that wants to say that I have some, hardcore job, or that I'm some super executive, or, whatever, director of such and such, or head engineer of whatever, and I don't have those titles. I don't have any of those things. But what I do have is a daily commitment to serve the Lord. What does that look like? Whatever he says, it does that day. It's so many hats, I can't keep track. And I feel like what Jesus did here is a good example. It's a good example of how do you answer that question when somebody's like, "But haven't you planned ahead? What are you going to do if such and such happens? What are you going to do if this happens?" And I don't know, because to serve God is a really all or nothing thing. You can try to do it halfway, but you're going to get very sporadic, if any, results at all in your life that are good. And the reason for that is because we are called to follow him and to serve him and to listen to his words and to speak truth and to not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough worries of itself. To trust him to provide our daily bread. We're called to do these things that have been translated to something completely different by society, and arguably some people don't have the freedoms that I have, and I acknowledge that. But at the same time, from experience, I can tell you that when you actively seek God every morning and you say, "Here I am. I say yes. What do you have for me today?" And he says, "Just wait. When you see it, you'll know. And when you open your mouth, my words will come out." And so then I proceed to do my little studies, and I proceed to do my daily little responsibilities, in lieu of knowing what to do. I do my responsibilities, the little things around the house, my schoolwork. I do all the little things, but I start the day out in his word. I take notes about that, and I deliver to the people, right? Because that's typically what he has me called doing right now. And I get those questions, and people will be like, "What do you do?" "My best." What? How do you answer that? How do you answer that when it's not important anymore? The normal titles that people put on your life. It becomes difficult. I could tell people I'm a teacher. I guess, arguably. I could tell people that I'm, that I pastor some people. I could say that. I don't have a church, so that just adds more questions. So, what I'm getting at is that we're going to get questions that are so easily answered. I do my Father's will. But we want to put other labels to answer these questions based on the society. And doing his will is way simpler and way more straightforward than everybody makes it out to be. It's way more straightforward. The problem that I see people have with it is that it breaks things, for the purpose of building better ones, by the way. But doing God's will, really doing it, will break off everything that doesn't need to be in your life, sometimes violently. And people will see things breaking, or they will be part of the thing that needs to be broken off, and they will resent you for choosing God. They won't say it in those words, but they'll resent you for choosing God rather than them. They will resent you for choosing God rather than that job that provided their security. They'll resent you for a slew of things, aka persecute you, right? That's the persecution part of it that Jesus talks about later on in his ministry. Expect it. If you're doing God's will, it will happen. And praise God when it does. God will break things. He will break relationships. He will, and I mean break off of you, not break you for the purpose of breaking you, but break off things for the purpose of building you. He will break off jobs. He'll break off identities. He'll break off titles. He'll break off sickness. He'll break off all these things that people think you need to handle yourself, that you need to go self-medicate for, that you need to go to counseling for. and I'm talking about societal standards here, he'll break off jobs that people think you need to be what they have played you up in their head to be. They will expect you to hold on to these things for the sake of your status in society, and they will resent you for not upholding the status in society that they thought you should hold based on these various things. But just like Jesus did here, I think a good proper response for that is, where else would I be? Don't you know that I have to do my Father's will? Conversation over. Right? Yes, it will put a damper on the cuddly, nice feelings that you have with that person at the moment, probably. I mean, not if they love you, but it will if they don't. If they love themselves more than they love God, they will take offense to that. If they love your service at that job more than they love your service to God, they will be hurt about you leaving, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can play that out to infinity, you know. What I'm getting at is that is a proper response to almost every question that you have about why you're doing things in faith that other people think they need to handle themselves. Why are you trusting God with this and not the system? Why are you trusting God with this and not your own striving? Because he told me to. Because that's literally the words he said. It's not even a translation. It's not somebody else's story about, it's red letter words. He tells us exactly how to live life, exactly how to handle situations, exactly what to trust him for, everything. And he talks a little bit about handling your daily things and to make things right with people, to love people in every opportunity you can. And to follow him. And so when you get that question, that is not a question for your benefit or for your edification. It's almost never a question for that. You can say, where else would I be? What else would I be doing? Don't you know that I must do my Father's will? And if that doesn't end the conversation, it might end the relationship. And good. If that doesn't end that discussion, it might end that job. And good. Let God break things in your life. Stop playing soft. Let God break what he needs to break. What he builds up after he breaks stuff down and breaks it off of you is way better. Every single time, it's way better. Be okay with the hard thing. Be okay with having a hard season. Because when he breaks something off of you and puts you in the valley and you're walking through what feels like will never end, he's building something incredible that you didn't have the words to ask for. Because we don't have the foresight. We don't see what he sees. And that's okay. We don't have to. We have a limited view, and it's on purpose. We have a limited view of today. And so look at today. Do what he puts in your little circle of influence to do, and literally leave everything else up to him. And I promise you, you do that for 3 months. You do that for 6 months. And I say this based on evidence that I have. The people that have listened to this hard teaching in my life, their lives look completely different, and they live a shalom, peace life now that they never thought was even possible before. There's proof this works. And the only reason why we think it's not working is because we're not letting God break what he wants to break. Let him break it. Let him break it all. Because he brings the sword down of truth, and it breaks constructs around us. It breaks the altars that we have accidentally worshipped at. It breaks the relationships that we have enthroned above him. It breaks things, but it builds us up to such a level of mastery and service of God that our lives sail with no worry from that point on, because he is building our life rather than us building our life. Because when we build our life, it crumbles every time. When he builds the life, it stands strong. He even said that about building our house on the sand. That's what he was talking about. So, meditate on that today. I encourage you, wake up with the express purpose of serving God and nothing else. For a good stretch. I usually recommend people try it for a whole year. Your life will never look the same.